What's up, y'all? This is Tabari and Nadia, two average people, and we are reviewing Courtney Ryan's video on 5 things that women say that are red flags. Let's go ahead and get it in.
I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be talking about things women say that are red flags, things she says that should make you want to run for the hills. Okay, starting strong with number 1 here, something that I've heard a lot recently, and you might have too if you watched my interviews that I did with the girls: I can change him. I cannot believe how often people say this out loud, and especially how much I've heard this lately. This is basically just setting yourself up for disappointment and disaster, especially if this is about important things such as, core values or your life goals. He only makes $30K, but I can change him. No. There's a couple things here that are wrong with this. There can be a bit of a controlling aspect here. Just the mere thought that you can or should change someone that you're romantically interested in is not a great way to enter a relationship. It's not also a great way to look at relationships. Trying to change someone to fit the mold of what you want them to be is not only a disappointment for you and negative for you, but also for that other person involved.
So, what do you think about what she said so far?
I agree 100%. But I think that happens internally a lot of the time. So we may not outwardly say, oh, I can change him or I can change her, but we think, okay, I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to plan all this life, for us. And naturally, if I plan this life and I show him how amazing I can be, then they're going to want to fall in line and be with me forever.
So it's more like expectation.
Yeah, but internally. Because, when you have something that you want so bad, and in this case, to be committed to this person, you're going to do what you can to make that happen. Right. So even those people who aren't outwardly saying, I can change him. Yeah. I think internally are trying to create that life. So that person does fall into it and then realize, wait a minute, what? That didn't work? You didn't want this? I thought, but you were doing everything that...
That's okay. All right. So it's really just that you were the one kind of doing all these things and it kind of, and hoping to see a particular result because of it.
Right. And then when you didn't see it, it's like, wait, what happened?
A whole bunch of other things that it may not have really meant in real life, but you never really gave a chance for anything else because you were kind of focused on the thing you're focused. I guess it's not bad. I mean, it's good to have, goals in your relationships. But I always warn against expectations. I feel like expectations are weird because unless you communicate them, they just become time bombs in your relationship. So expectations need to be there, but first, healthy communication needs to be there.
Absolutely.
Let's keep going.
Number 2, I've cheated more than once. Listen, sometimes people change. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt sometimes, but also sometimes they don't. Just because someone cheated in the past doesn't necessarily mean that they will do it again. People do change and learn from their mistakes. But if they've admitted to cheating multiple times, or they don't feel bad about it, or they make excuses or justifications or whatever it is, don't waste your time. If you guys watched the video where I was reacting to the girl who was talking about how, if he doesn't find out that I cheated, it's not mean, and she was making all these excuses and basically saying that she was a serial cheater, sometimes people really flat out, point blank, tell you exactly who they are, and in this case, you should believe them.
I feel like that would be an obvious red flag.
No, not really.
Really?
No. Especially for men, because men tend to want to give women the benefit of the doubt. We tend to want to be that person who goes, I understand. I get it. And in this case, you'd probably hear something like, well, we all have a past. And that's the justification for it, It's understandable.
Yeah, and, I guess so. I guess it depends on how you're looking at it. What I was thinking is, somebody might actually appreciate the honesty of someone saying that. Yeah. But on the other hand, I'd be like, okay, well, he or she just told you they were a cheater because they cheated more than once. But they're being honest? Maybe? I don't know. But anyway.
Number 3, I get whatever I want. Yes, there are people who really say this. A girl like this typically cannot handle hearing the word no. It's someone who, if you set boundaries with them, they will not want to be in your life, or they will make you feel like a horrible person because of it. A girl like this who is saying, I get whatever I want, or I never hear the word no, or I don't like the word no, all of these can be kind of looped together, and it often is this entitled princess mentality, which is not good for anybody to act that way, especially not someone that you're trying to date. If she's going out of her way to tell you, I always get what I want, or I always get my way, just do yourself a favor and remove you from the equation.
I get whatever I want. What do you think about that, baby?
Yeah, that's a big red flag. That's a big red flag to me, because I get what I want tends to mean that there's an underlying current of, and I don't care what you want.
Yes.
You know, and it's the I don't care. I value a person who's brave enough within themselves to say, no, I'm setting a goal, and I know I'm going to go after this goal, and I know I'm going to get what I want out of this situation. But the underlying current of, and I don't care what you need, and I don't care what you want, and I don't care what your circumstance is in this relationship is awkward. It's just awkward. And guys in our society are kind of trained in the art of being polite and chivalrous, and you know, you end up falling into people who believe this mentality, and you think it's your job to help satisfy their goals and visions for themselves, and in the process get trampled.
But what if I'm a determined person, and I'm a person that likes to go out, and I have this goal, and I set myself for that goal, knowing that I'm going to attain it? Why is that so bad for me to say, okay, I've set my goal, I go out to get what I want, I don't rely on anybody else, so I get what I want? Why is that so bad?
I don't necessarily think that's bad individually, but when you're talking about in terms of a relationship, to me that's very bad. Because okay, let's skip the part where what you're talking about applies just to you, and start looking at it as it applies to the relationship. To me, in the relationship, what we're doing when we say stuff like that is effectively, I don't need you. And I gotta tell you, when you're starting to
that's how you're hearing it.
Well, the thing is, that's what you're saying. It's not just that's how we're hearing it, because it's not just the way you heard it problem. If you're saying, I don't need you, I can get it on my own, what you're saying is, I don't need you, I can get it on my own.
Okay.
And if that's what you're saying, fine. But in this, that you're gonna get the results you're gonna, especially from a man, you're gonna get the results you're gonna get. If we don't feel needed, there's a big disconnect that's happening.
But what if the want is you? I get what I want you, so I'm gonna have you. That could actually be a turn on for some people.
I mean,
right, y'all?
I mean, maybe. I mean,
I guess it depends on what you're talking about, but
what you like.
Y'all know I gotta spice it up a little bit, but no, baby, I really, really hear what you're saying, and I can see how that statement can be perceived as, okay, I'm going to do what I want to do. Forget what you want to do. Yeah.
So. And more so when it starts to feel that way.
Yeah.
When it starts to feel that way, it's like, okay, all right.
Number 4, I don't have any girlfriends. I do want to say that making friends can be difficult, especially as we get older. Trying to make friends as an adult, I feel like, is a lot harder than making friends when you're younger, just because you're kind of experiencing life together, you're on the same track when you're in school and all of that. When you become an adult, everyone's kind of all over the place, and it can be harder to meet people and make meaningful connections as we get a little bit older for some people. But one thing I've noticed over the years of people that have no friends of the same sex, so a girl that says, I don't have any friends that are girls, or a guy that says, I don't have any friends that are guys, they're normally incredibly difficult to get along with. Is this 100% the case? Absolutely not. I don't want to necessarily group everyone into this little category here, but I do find a common theme with people who are always the victim in a situation, who can't maintain friendships, who, oh, well, we aren't friends anymore because she was this, that, and the other, and it's never their fault, right? They always play the victim in these kind of situations.
That's interesting, because I myself am a loner, But I have friends, like I have friends, wonderful friends. Hang out with them, be around them. I definitely agree that that's a red flag, because wait, you don't have anybody else that you're around. So what I'm seeing when I'm about to date you is that you're going to be relying on me for a lot of things, a lot of resources to fill your insecurities that you may have, is what I hear from that personally. Now, this is just my opinion, but I definitely see that as a red flag.
Yeah.
You need to have a healthy balance of, you know, time with your spouse or time with if you have children, and you need to have friends, your family, time for yourself. You need to have a good balance. And if you don't have friends, you know, my next question is why? Why don't you have no friends? I mean, you don't have to have the world, you know, as your friend. My dad always would say, you know, if you die and you have one friend, you're lucky. You know, people you associate with are acquaintances, but you don't have anybody that you hang out with.
Yeah, it's a red flag.
That's definitely a
Super
red flag.
red flag. Yeah.
And number 5 is buy me a drink. You could really replace the drink here with anything, but I'm just thinking of a situation where you're maybe out and about, maybe you're out for the night and a girl's like, hey, buy me a drink. Or, hey, I'll come talk to you if you buy me and my friends a drink or a shot. Just don't do it. The reason I have this as a red flag is because if your initial interaction with her is her trying to get something out of you and blatantly coming out and saying it, that's normally not a good sign for what the rest of your relationship with her would look like. If you're out and a girl tells you, buy me a drink, or if you message her on Instagram and she says, send me money for a reply, or buy me a bag, or buy me whatever, buy me a fancy dinner, take me here, or if it's anything involving gifts or giving her money or whatever it could be, 99% of the time, this just means she's about to use you.
I would not have thought of that as a red flag.
Yeah.
However, that does speak to someone who wants to see what they can get out of you off the jump. Like, I feel like that could pose a person who is that could be a person who is materialistic.
Yeah, no, I think it is. Well, I just think it's a person who is starting off the relationship based on a financial financial motivation, and for me, that's not cool.
Yeah,
that's not cool in the slightest.
Not cool at all. It's
just not cool.
That is definitely a red flag. You know, you obviously you want somebody who's interested in you, your mind, not your pocket.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, money is important. You know, we want to date somebody who's ambitious, who can, you know, provide and all of those things. But you starting off like, buy me a drink.
Yeah, that's not a good relationship. That's not a good way to start a relationship by any stretch of the imagination. And it really does start with buy me a drink.
Yeah.
Maybe,
but you know, maybe there's a better way you can ask that question, because I feel like depending on the nature of the conversation, if y'all are vibing or whatever, maybe it depends on how it's said, because
here's the other, no, not really, no, because the intention behind it is, let me see what I can get out of it. And the more sweetly you say it, just to me comes across as more manipulative.
Okay.
Buy me a drink, though, seems to be like that. I don't even care anymore. I'm not even trying to hide it. So either way, either end of that spectrum to me doesn't sound like a good idea.
Okay.
It's either I'm too arrogant on one end to realize that, wow, that was bold, or if I'm way on the other end, I'm just trying to sweet talk you into giving me what I want.
Okay.
Which is
ugh.
All right, y'all. That was our reaction video to Courtney Ryan's 5 things that women say that are red flags. We'll link the original video down in the description down below. Great content creator. Shout out to her. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you go like our content. We have lots of shorts out and other content there for you. And please check us out. And as always, remember, we're better together.